What's up, guys? Welcome back to Sarah Speaks, where we have conversations about faith, life, and everything in between. I know. I didn't post a video last week. I'm sorry, guys. Trust me, I'm very committed to being consistent, but Aki, life just happens. Life happens. I've had a really long 2 weeks, I'd say, and it's just been back to back. Aki, I'm very sorry. But here we are. I'm gonna record this video in the midst of so much that's going on. I'm supposed to be making my hair right now because I have a photo shoot tomorrow. My skin is just doing the most. I don't know what's happening. I think I stayed in the sun last week when we were filming something, so I'm getting sunburns. That's why I'm not even wearing makeup because, but we give thanks. In everything, we give thanks. Oh, I'm also sporting me and my cousin entertainment t-shirt, which is the record company that I record with. So if you want a t-shirt like this, I'll leave the link to their socials. So if you want one, you can get one. They come in different colors. So support us, please. Anyway, so let's proceed and continue with the academic series. If you haven't watched part 1, I'll put the link in the description box where I gave a story time of my academics journey. And today I just want us to have a conversation about something that most of us have to have a conversation with ourselves about, with our family, with our parents, with our friends. And it's just really, I think, controversial, especially when the conversation is hard between young people and older people. Are degrees really important? Are they?
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
All right, so to start us off, I will be reading from a book, which is very unlike me because I am not an avid reader. I'd like to be, but it's just not my thing. But I try. So this is a book called Like the Flowing River by Paulo Coelho, which I was bought for by my friend and manager for my graduation. So it's a very easy read because it's just short stories, and I think it's amazing. So it's just a compilation of his life experiences, and it's just perfect. So in one of the stories, which is actually called The Importance of a Degree, he gives this story, like he just sets the story up, and then at some point, this is what he says: I remember that my baba worked day and night so that his daughter could finish her sociology degree. She finally graduated, and after knocking on many doors, found work as a secretary at a cement works. Yet my baba still used to say very proudly, my daughter has got a degree. Most of my friends and most of my friends' children also have degrees. That doesn't mean that they've managed to find the kind of work they wanted. Not at all. They went to university because someone at a time when universities were important said that in order to rise in the world, you have to have a degree. And thus, the world was deprived of some excellent gardeners, bakers, antique dealers, sculptors, and writers, and musicians. Perhaps this is the moment to review the situation. Doctors, engineers, scientists, and lawyers need to go to the university. But does everyone? I'll let these lines by Robert Frost provide the answer. And then he quotes Robert Frost. 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. End quote. A couple of weeks ago, Citizen did that feature, First Class Betrayal, on the guy who was an A student, went on to campus, graduated first class, then still ended up on the street. And the saddest thing about this whole thing is that this is just one out of so many cases that they managed to highlight. And from that story, so many people posted about their experiences, and they passed exams, and the system just sort of betrayed them, or life or things just didn't go the way they thought they would. And I remember seeing this one post. I'll look for it. If I find it, I'll link it in the description box, or I'll put a screenshot, one of the two. And this guy was giving a story of how literally the fact that he got a first class put him at a disadvantage. Like, employers didn't employ him specifically because he got a first class. I think it was something around they felt that he was entitled or something like that, which is mad unfair. Because throughout our lives, you're told, work hard, go to school. If you pass your exams, you're going to get a job. You know what I mean? And trust me, I know. If you know, you know. I know this. There's so much pressure, and you're told, pass your exams. After that, life is supposed to bow down to you and everything is supposed to simply work out. But that's not the case. And the worst thing is if you're forced to do a degree in something that you don't even enjoy just because you have to have a degree in this society. But I genuinely feel like times have changed, and in this era and in this century and in this place that we are in as a world, I think people are starting to really believe in talent and believe in gifts and abilities. Just like Paulo Coelho said in that book, there's careers that you have to go to school. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go to med school. If you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to law school. But there's things that you can build on, and you can nurture your giftings and talents and your areas of interest without necessarily going to school. This is just an example. I have friends who, in the middle of studying their degrees, they realized this is not what I want. And in fact, what I want to do doesn't even need a degree. And they dropped out and started very successful businesses. And there's people who didn't even go to university at all and ended up owning very successful businesses. But the vice versa, what is that phrase they say? The reverse is also true. I think something like that. The opposite of that statement is also true. There's people who went to school and that's the reason why they are very successful. So I think my point is there's no one route to success. There's no one route to achieving your goals or achieving your dreams. I genuinely believe in prayer, and I believe in also hard work. It doesn't have to be hard work in school. It can be hard work in your business, hard work in your area of interest, in the things that you want to do. And then you just figure it out as you go. And by degree, I think I should also just expand it to also higher education, masters and PhD and all these things. I felt once I graduated, to be honest, I felt a lot of pressure to do a master's. Even up to now, 2 years later, I still feel pressure to go back to school and do a master's degree. And I remember having a conversation with myself and actually telling myself, until you figure out what you actually want to go to back to school to do, don't just go to school and waste money. Because the obvious thing would have been for me to immediately go back after graduation and apply for a scholarship, which I probably would have gotten because I passed, and just continue studying music. But I was like, do I want to study music? And if yes, what area of music do I want to have a master's in? Would it be performance? Would it be education? What exactly do I want? And I feel like until I'm able to answer that question for myself, I don't see the need of going. Because if now, today, like in how I'm feeling today, if I decide to go back to school, it literally would be just because society expects me to go back to school, not because I feel the need to go back to school. So if right now you're in a position where you're trying to soul search and you're trying to figure out what you want to do, just ask yourself that question and actually really analyze and think about it. Why am I going to school? Why am I going to do this degree? Am I going just because I applied na nikaitwa? Am I going because my parents expect me to go? Or am I going because I genuinely feel like this degree is going to make a difference in my life? There's this meme that has been doing the rounds that says, in Africa, a degree is only important when you don't have it. Yani, it's so sad, but it's so true, because when you don't have a degree, you feel the pressure to get a degree. Then once you get a degree, you realize it really doesn't make a difference, because almost everyone has a degree. So you still need to have that edge. You still need to have that proper skill. You still need to be able to do the job. You know what I mean? Because you can even have a degree but don't have enough skill to do a certain job. So my stance is, if you feel like genuinely what you want to do requires a degree, please go to school. If you feel like going to school is going to enhance what you want to do, please go to school. And school is great, and education is amazing. I remember one of my lecturers in school said, your first degree is literally just to show you that you're teachable. It's not, she said, how did she put it? She was like, a first degree doesn't mean anything. It just shows you're able to learn something. And I was like, that's actually true. Because to be honest, I became serious with my school, with my degree, whatever, when I was in third year. And I'll give that story time next week, hopefully. So if you're struggling with that question, do I want to go to school? What do I want to go to do? Please just take your time, pray about it, do your research, know exactly why you're going to do what you're going to do. Don't just follow the status quo, just going to school for the sake of it. I think it will make your degree even much more meaningful if you have a purpose why behind it, or you have a very interesting, a very valid reason as to why you're doing it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. I make videos like this, just having conversations, offering insight on the things that I've learned so far in life. And I'd like to have conversations with you. So if you have any opinions on this issue, please feel free to comment down below. Tell me if you went to school, why you chose to. If you didn't, why you chose to. What has been your experience in this area so far? And let's keep the conversation going. But until next time, this is Sero.